I wouldn't call our meetings really like tastings. It's more of a get together. The structure of our get togethers is in the beginning, if you're interested in the theory, then you can join our academy sessions. It's not mandatory, but if you're interested, you can go there. And that is always followed by an after party. Now that we have many members that are really into wine, they bring amazing bottles. So we have one member, so he's retired, but he decided to start his studies again. And he always brings some of his bottles from his private inventory. And it's just amazing having people or having member bring those bottles that are rarely accessible. Yeah, it's just amazing.
Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. This is the next generation with me, McKenna Cassidy. For the next episode, I invite you to explore with me what young adults are up to in the Italian wine scene. Let's feast on our discussion of Italian wine and culture. Grab a glass with us. Chin chin. Welcome, everyone. I'm McKenna Cassidy on the next generation of the Italian Wine Podcast, and I'm joined by two special guests. Today we have Chris and Emanuel, both calling in from Munich. They run Munich's first student wine club, and we are delighted and excited to hear more about that today. So welcome, Chris and Emanuel. If you would be so kind, just break the ice for us here. Tell us how old you are and where you were born and how you started this wine club.
Thank you for having us. I'm Emanuel. I'm 21 years old and I'm studying the same thing as Christian, management and technology at the Technical University of Munich. And 3 years ago, quite exactly 3 years ago now, I went to my first cost accounting lecture, which is maybe, or some people might say, quite a boring class. And I was half asleep and suddenly I heard wine in the lecture hall. I was like, what's happening here? And it turned out that it was because of being the first class of that course. It was pitching day. So some student initiatives were allowed to pitch themselves and to acquire members. And the first one that pitched was Society of Sommeliers in their founding semester. And I applied immediately during the lecture and got taken. And I'm in Society of Sommeliers for 3 years now. We'll tell you more about Society of Sommeliers soon, but I'll give it over to Christian.
Thanks for having me as well. So first of all, I'm studying the same thing as Emanuel, and I pretty much heard about it in the same lecture, but I didn't apply yet because I don't know, it was just the uncertainty in the beginning. But after Emanuel's first year and all the amazing stories he told me and about the field trips that we're going to tell you later as well, I knew that I had to join. That was basically my first contact point, just having Emanuel in the club. I think Emanuel and I met in the first semester, and since then we've became best friends. So that was like my number one reason to join. And my family is into wine, and my grandpa is also like really, really interested and has a lot of bottles in his cellar. But I never knew what it meant when he told me that he's pouring me a Riesling Cabinet or something. So I was like really interested in learning about the wine and what he's talking about. And that was like the perfect contact point for me there. So I knew I had to join the club.
Incredible. So how many years now have you both been in? 1 year, 2 years?
So Emanuel, you joined 3 years ago, right?
I applied during the first lecture, first pitch, first everything. So I'm in for 3 years now, and the anniversary is soon.
Yeah, and I joined more or less exactly a year ago. Actually, I did apply 1.5 years ago. Sadly, my application wasn't enough back then. But now like I joined a year ago, and I wanted to take over some responsibility, and that's why half a year ago I joined the board as well.
Okay. So this is at your university. There's a club where you can taste wine and learn about it. Am I
Exactly.
tracking?
Yeah.
Okay, incredible. And you did not found this club, you joined this club. It's been on campus for a bit, but now you're in leadership. So it's called the Society of Sommeliers.
Actually, our president is a trained winemaker, so his family owns a vineyard as well.
And what vineyard is that?
Weingut Bernhard in Rheinhessen, so center of Germany.
Wonderful. Okay. So it's not everyone can just sign up on the street and say, "Yeah, I want to taste wine." And the room could get a little busy with people just drinking wine, but these students seem to have a proven interest in wine. They have some certifications already in wine. So kind of what are the credentials you have to have as a student to be able to enter a club like this?
just recently we discussed our next application phase, because right now we do face a lot of applications. Last year was 172 applications, which was a record high.
Wow. For 50 spots. Great.
No, 15, 1-5. It's yeah, yeah. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically our application period starts at the beginning of every semester, and yeah, we start our social media campaign. So the first step is to apply via a Google Forms. So it's really just answering some questions. Why do you want to join the club? Do you have any connection to wine so far? Do you have prior knowledge? What's your study course? Which is also quite interesting for us, as we are really heavy on business students, and we do want to broaden that a bit, get more diverse as well. But we're on the right track. We now have some biology students, some law students, so it's getting a bit better. And we actively try to gain more non-business people. But yeah, so in the beginning, you apply via the forms, you tell us about your interest, your prior knowledge, and once we have, like, the board has reviewed those applications, which takes about 1 to 2 weeks, we rate the applications and then we invite people to interviews. In the interview, we have two of our members, also to determine the personal fit, because for us, that's pretty much the most important thing. Because I think we join the club to learn about wine, so we do not really expect prior knowledge, but obviously it's cool to have prior knowledge. But the personal fit is the most important thing. We want to have nice people in the club, and in the end, it's all about networking. So we really keep an eye on that. And after, I think, another 2 weeks of interviewing, we sort by the best points, and then internally we discuss which members we want to
Got it.
accept to the club. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Emmanuel, you're sipping something over there. Tell us what you're sipping and why.
I obviously had to get an Italian wine. It's
Of
nothing
course.
special. It's a Primitivo, quite basic. I figured I didn't want to go too heavy because I can't finish the bottle now because I still have some work to go after this part. So
Of
only
course.
one small glass from me.
Oh, cheers, Chris.
But for me, it's honestly, it's only apple juice mixed with some sparkling water.
Oh, that's perfect. It's 8 a.m. in Chicago, so if it were me, I'd be having champagne.
Well, it's actually a Friday afternoon in Munich.
Yes,
Yeah, maybe later, but for now, I'm gonna stick with apple juice.
that's perfect. I guess so. On an Italian wine note, what was if you can recall, the last Italian wine related class or meeting for the group, and what was that like?
Emanuel, do you want to talk about South Tyrol?
Yeah, so South Tyrol is, of course, Italy, right? North of Italy, diverse wine region. And actually, 2 tastings ago, we had a South Tyrol tasting guided by 2 members who are both from South Tyrol and very well connected. I think one of them works in the gastronomy there. So, very well connected. We had amazing wines. But funnily, I think we haven't been to Toscana tasting wise, but we have been to Toscana physically.
Oh,
Oh, Verona.
okay, Verona. You went as a group to the north?
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe let's start off with the basics, what the club actually does before we get too
Let's
deep.
do that.
So I divided into 3 main parts. So the main part we do during each semester is 4 wine tastings. Each of these tastings has got one theme, one topic. So Turkish wine tasting, South Tyrol. Some things we want to do now are a vertical wine tasting, so different years from the same grape variety. South Africa is coming up, Australia. We've had everything. Still a lot to go. The second main thing we do is our field trip. So once per semester, we do a field trip. And actually, the last field trip was to Verona. So Italy, I unfortunately couldn't join, so I can't tell you too much about it.
Next time you go to Verona, that's where the Italian Wine Podcast is
Yeah,
based.
perfect.
So when you go to
We should have
Verona,
visited
please
next time,
message me.
right?
I beseech you. Okay, good.
And the third part of the club are competitions. So contrary to maybe common conception, there are quite a lot of student wine initiatives worldwide, at least. And there is one giant competition hosted by the Rothschild family, which is called the Left Bank Bordeaux Cup. And this competition basically invites all student initiatives for wine all over the world. It's 211 clubs in total. And it's a 2-step process as well. So, first of all, you have to qualify within your peer group or continent, basically. So, there's a Europe group, America, and so on. And we actually did, as TUM, qualify to the finals, which happens at Chateau Lafite, so where the Rothschild wine is being made. And our two members actually got to go there. One of our friends, his name is David, actually got his wine poured in by Baron Rothschild himself, so quite impressive. But
Wow.
unfortunately, Tum only made fourth place there, so
Still an
yeah,
amazing success.
about 211.
Yes.
And maybe to add to that, we are a bit more diversified uni-wise. We're not only at TUM, so Technical University of Munich. We are also accredited at the LMU, so the Ludwig Maximilian University it's called. And we even have some members from other universities such as Augsburg. But apparently, since our club has become more big in size, there are competitor clubs are being founded all over.
They're taking inspiration and they're creating a side club or a side club. Wow.
I think the best way is to work together, have tastings together, have the members join each other, get to know each other.
Absolutely.
Which we're also planning right now, having collaborations with other student wine clubs such as St. Gallen in Switzerland.
Oh, outstanding. So, okay, so there's a university in Switzerland you're also collaborating
Exactly.
with to do travel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the collab is probably going to be the students from St. Gallen University, which is in Switzerland in St. Gallen. The town is called St. Gallen. They are likely going to join us for one of our tastings this summer already. And I think this is one of the key takeaways for us to really nurture the student life, to have like shared initiatives. We also do tastings with other student initiatives that are non-wine related at all. For example, with the TUM Blockchain Club, we had one which cares about blockchain technologies. Then we did one with Innovis
Yeah.
VC, which is focused on venture capital. And I think focusing on that will really get us ahead even more in the club and yeah, help us with our people focus.
Also quite a good recruiting event for
True.
us.
I'm sure it is. So, what would you both say? There's a lot of commentary in the wine scene at large about how the next generation is drinking mostly cocktails. They're not drinking as much wine. In one night, they might have a cocktail, a glass of wine, a beer, a different cocktail, then a glass of wine. It's not wine all night anymore, as if it ever was. But there's a lot of concern about the future of the wine industry because of the way the next generation is engaging with wine. And I'm looking at you seeing that you have quite a dedicated list of people who want to learn about wine and are hungry and thirsty, if you will, to learn about wine. And so, like, what would you say to someone who says, oh, the future of the industry is at risk because of the way the next gen is engaging with wine? And how does your club kind of respond to this concern?
It's perfect that we are responsible for partnerships because we do have the insights. So first of all, there is definitely demand from companies or from winemakers to access new customer groups and to access the younger generation, which is also one of our USPs actually, because we do have that target group. And with our Instagram channels and TikTok channels, we have quite a far reach. So there is really demand to reach the young generation. I think it's definitely reasonable. There are a lot of people just partying, but I think there is a clear trend. So also just seeing the number of student initiatives about wine and also the rising demand for our memberships, which is absolutely insane. We never had such a strong application phase. Like I said,
Yeah.
170 applicants of people that are actively interested in wine, that want to learn about it, that want to go to tastings. So definitely there is an incline in party people, but on the other hand, there's also a lot of people that are really like interested into
Yeah.
in
What's
wine.
the ethos of the thing? Like what are people attracted to? Is it the story of the wine? Is it interest in geography? Is it the detail of learning about wine? It's a cool challenge to learn about it. Like what's attractive about wine that makes all these people these young people want to apply to the club, for example? Like what's the draw? What's magnetic about what's going on in that room?
I think that's actually the part that's changing. That's a trend that's interesting. And that's maybe also the thing that's worrying the old school wineries because they're used to customers 50 plus checking out their wines and a wine tasting. And if they like it, they buy like 3 boxes, 6 bottles, and so on. But I think the industry is changing, and that's what we're kind of embodying. You can see that on our Instagram. It's becoming more about the people, about the stories, about the wines, where the wine is from, storytelling from a winemaker. not only like, okay, this wine tastes like that, that's it. It's about storytelling, it's about marketing, getting it across. And I think that's what we're really doing, and we're trying that. And of course, we're combining it with the people, which is my favorite part of the club. Enjoying wines together, discussing, having something to talk about with a person, maybe from a completely different background. The one person is studying electrical engineering, the other one is studying medicine, and they might never meet in university otherwise, but we are connecting them because they can talk about which attributes this wine they're tasting together has. And I think that's one of the things the wine industry might have to focus on. More get together, more lifestyle. I know it sounds a bit unsexy, especially for the more traditional generation, but I
Yeah,
think the trend is going into that direction now.
that's awesome. It sounds like this kind of this education, this transparency about the details behind the wine, and then an opportunity to hang and actually enjoy it. Like those three things are kind of magical draw, like we just mentioned.
I also think that wine becomes more and more like a lifestyle product. You do want to match it with the vibe. You want to drink it outside. You want to meet with friends to drink a glass of wine. It's not just going to a restaurant or just tasting the wine and discussing the sense. I mean, obviously, that's a big part of it. But I think for us students, for the younger generation, it's actually about the people. And that's also, for example, why I wouldn't call our meetings really like tastings. It's more of a get together that consists of several parts. So, like the structure of our get togethers is in the beginning, if you're interested in a theory, then you can join our academy sessions that are hosted by our head of education. It's not mandatory, but if you're interested, you can go there. Then usually our tastings are with a certain topic, like Emanuel said, region or horizontal. What we do want to plan for the next semester is old versus new world, or even some different grape varieties, horizontal tastings. And that is always followed by an after party where every member brings their own bottle. Then we share it with other people, tell the stories of the wine, how we experienced it when we drank it the first time. It's also amazing because now that we have many members that are really into wine, they bring amazing bottles. So we have one member, so he's retired, but he decided to start his studies again, and he always brings some of his bottles from his private inventory, and it's just amazing having people or having member bring those bottles that are rarely accessible. Yeah, it's just amazing.
This is so awesome. It sounds like too much fun. Like I want to
It
go.
is,
It
it
sounds
is. It's
awesome.
amazing.
This is great. So to that end, like talk to me about some memories from your meetings, like funniest moments or travel memories or something like that. You can think about it for a second
I
too.
think my favorite travel memory is the first field trip we organized because, as Christian already mentioned, our founder actually comes from a winemaker family himself. So our first field trip, we were only 12 people. The club was like 30 maybe, and 12 people joined for the field trip. We went to their home in Rheinhessen. They gave us their best wine, showed us everything in detail, how everything's done. And it was such an immersive experience. Really went into the details and really authentic. We lived there, and of course some great memories partying too. On the German village in Rheinhessen, the wine parties are quite intense. They've got the saying Handbreit, Handbreit. So they drink a mix of sparkling water with wine. And the saying Handbreit, Handbreit means first the size of your hand vertically and then horizontally. And vertically is the wine, horizontally is the water. So it's getting quite intense over there.
I love that. I'm bringing that to Chicago. That's great.
So for me, I didn't join a field trip yet because first of all, I joined a year ago. Yeah, I sadly didn't make it to Verona. But Emmanuel told you about a memorable moment. I'm going to tell you about a funny moment or many funny moments because obviously it's always fun. We have great members. But what I thought of right now is when our marketing department comes up to us and they have new ideas for TikToks or Instagram reels. They always want everybody to join and do the dances in front of everyone, and it's just hilarious. Just last time we did the "I'm looking for a man in finance" video. It's crazy. It has over 5 million views now.
Many views. Oh my gosh. Everyone who's listening, you can find them on Instagram and
Yeah,
TikTok,
it's
and it is
crazy.
like a delight and absolutely hilarious. You feel like you're in the room with everyone. It's really cool. That's awesome, Chris. Thanks for sharing that. Do you have any other like memories or anecdotes that you were thinking of?
One very fresh news that we can now announce is that we're an official club in Germany, which is quite a lengthy process. You have to go to the notary, blah, blah, blah. and we finally managed it. Maybe it's not relatable for Americans because everything is much quicker over there, but in Germany it took ages, and we finally managed it. And I think
Congrats, that's huge.
to have the
Cheers.
official backing now.
That's great. So what does that allow? Does that give you access to funding, or it just makes you more official? Like, what's the appeal of doing that?
Yeah, so first of all, now we have an official structure.
Oh,
So far, we didn't really have elections for the board positions. Now we do. So we have official process. Also, we have another, okay, it's getting quite theoretical, but we do have another tax code. So
wow, this is a lot to manage.
another few regulations. So we are not allowed to spend money on
What's the
alcohol, apparently.
loophole? We need a loophole.
Yeah, but there are ways, obviously. That's pretty much the biggest thing. But we had to do it because of the universities. Because if you do want to be accredited by the universities, you do have to be a club in funding or an official registered club with the notary's office. So yeah, we had a timeline. We had to get officially founded in a time span of 2 years, and yeah, that's the point now.
This is
But
awesome.
yeah, we are really proud of that. It's an amazing milestone for our club as well.
Totally. Do you think that you both, when you graduate, leave wine behind and it was just a pipe dream in college? Or is this significantly perhaps impacting your career decisions? What do you think?
Even founding an alumni club for the people that graduated university, and we will find the get-togethers, and we of course also meet in private without the official tastings. And I think once you start earning, we of course only have student budgets. Once you start
Yeah.
earning, there's much nicer wines to be had. So I think the future is looking bright for us.
This is awesome. I'm so excited for you. So you'll go into business, but you might maintain the wine club post and you'll be able to do both. Could you ever first see yourself like entering the wine industry?
I mean, for me, the first contact point now was being board member for partnerships in our club. Maybe I'm gonna say it a bit broader. The partnerships part is definitely interesting for me, and wine is an interesting topic. So if I'll end up in the wine industry, that's definitely the partnership side and talking to people over a glass of wine. That's definitely gonna happen.
I love it. Okay, we've identified the part that's attractive. That's awesome. Guys, thank you so much for sharing all the details about this really impressive kind of organization, your dedication to it, the connections you made with other people along the way. I think it's a really great example and a successful one for many people who are seeking to engage the next generation, but lucky us, we're the ones who get to enjoy. So, are there any other details that you would want like listeners to know about what you're up to in the wine scene?
Depending on how the club is developing, we have had the very visionary goal of maybe expanding to other universities, other cities, and making it kind of a brand because it's working so well right now. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but if it continues like that, we might actually start founding new hubs of our club, which other student initiatives from Munich did, like Innovis VC, for example. So maybe that's a bright outlook for us.
That's awesome. Well, cheers to that. This is amazing. Thank you guys so much for your time, and we can't wait to listen to this again and again as we get to know like the clubs are going to start popping up all over the world. It's going to be like it started somewhere.
Thank you so much for having us and spreading the word.
Thank you.
1000%. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Tante grazie. Thanks so much for being here with me today. Remember to catch our episodes weekly on the Italian Wine Podcast, available everywhere you get your pods. Salute.